So, imagine this. One of the biggest, most respected tech companies in India decides to go all in on artificial intelligence. You'd think the market would be thrilled, right? But what happens when they make that huge bet smack in the middle of a massive industry downturn? Well, that's the high-stakes drama playing out right now with Tata Consultancy Services, or as we all know them, TCS. Let's break down what this massive gamble is all about.
To really get the pressure TCS is under, you just need to look at this one number, -15%. Since the start of 2025, India's Nifty IT index, which is basically the report card for the whole tech sector, has just tanked. And this isn't just a little dip, it's a huge warning sign that there's some serious trouble in an industry that used to feel, well, pretty much bulletproof.
So, what's causing all this anxiety? I mean, where did it come from? This wasn't some random fluke. It was more like a wave of fear that started with just one company's bad news and then spread like wildfire, putting the entire Indian IT sector on high alert.
And it just shows you how interconnected this whole world is. The trigger wasn't even from India. It was the global IT giant Accenture. When they put out their latest results, the numbers were, let's just say, not great. And that raised some serious red flags about the health of the entire industry. The result? Investors got spooked, and Indian heavyweights like TCS saw their stocks take an immediate nosedive.
This nervousness isn't just a gut feeling. It's based on some very real fears. First off, clients are locking down their wallets, which means fewer big deals are getting signed. Second, all that discretionary spending, the money for the smaller, cool but not essential projects, that is pretty much dried up. Third, there's just no sign of a big comeback in demand anywhere on the horizon. And kind of hanging over all of this, you've got all the global economic and political uncertainty, which makes companies really hesitant to spend big on anything, especially tech.
So, when you're faced with a picture this gloomy, a company can basically do one of two things: retreat and play it safe, or double down. Well, TCS has chosen to double down, and its bet is squarely on artificial intelligence. They don't just see it as some far-off growth engine, they see it as the solution to the problems their clients are facing right now.
And check this out. This is a direct quote from TCS leadership. It couldn't be any clearer. While everyone else is worried about shrinking budgets, TCS is pointing to AI as the thing that's actually filling up its pipeline with new business. They're basically telling their clients that AI isn't a luxury, it's a way to be more efficient and find value, which makes it a must-have, even when times are tough.
And this isn't just talk, they've got a really solid three-part plan. First, they're using AI to solve real-world business problems. Second, they are actively signing deals left and right. We're talking over 580 AI-focused projects in just one quarter. And third, and this part is absolutely crucial, they are massively upskilling their own people. They've built an army of over 160,000 employees trained in advanced AI, ready to actually deliver on these big promises.
Okay, a great strategy on a PowerPoint slide is one thing, but what does it actually look like out in the wild? Let's take a look at a really powerful example of how TCS is putting this whole AI and cloud strategy to work on the ground.
Now, before we get to that example, we got to quickly understand this term, sovereign cloud. It sounds super technical, but the idea is actually pretty simple. It's a cloud service where all of your data is guaranteed to stay physically inside a specific country's borders. That means it's only subject to that country's laws. For governments, for banks, for healthcare, this is a huge deal for security and control.
And this is where that strategy just comes to life. TCS just announced a major partnership in East Africa, and it's a perfect look at their global playbook. They bring in the heavy-duty, AI-powered sovereign cloud tech, but they're not trying to do it all alone. Nope, they've teamed up with Sybil, a local expert who knows the region, and IX Africa, who's providing the actual secure data center in Kenya. It's this perfect mix of global tech and local know-how.
A bold AI strategy, smart new partnerships. It all sounds pretty good, right? But the billion-dollar question is, what does the financial world think? Are analysts and investors actually buying into TCS's vision for the future?
Well, in the short term, the verdict is harsh. This chart shows a pretty painful one-year return of -24.5%. The stock has been dragged right down with the rest of the sector, showing that investors are still really cautious. Right now, it seems like the market is way more focused on the immediate storm clouds than the long-term AI plan.
But here's where the story gets really fascinating. While the stock price is down in the dumps, look at what the professional analysts are saying. An overwhelming 71% of them have a buy rating on TCS. I mean, think about that. That is a huge disconnect. Regular investors are selling, but the experts who study this company for a living are saying, hey, now is the time to buy.
So this disconnect really comes down to two completely different stories. You've got the bulls, the optimists, who are pointing to a super healthy $10 billion in new orders in just one quarter, and the big demand for AI projects. They think growth is going to pick up later in the year. But then you have the bears, the skeptics. They fire back that, yeah, those orders are great, but they're slow to turn into actual money, and clients are still pinching pennies, and the shaky global economy could just derail the whole recovery. And you know what? Both sides have a really good point.
Which brings us right to the heart of it all. You've got this immense short-term pressure on one side and this massive long-term investment on the other. The big question is, which one is going to win out?
I mean, the company just crossed an incredible $30 billion revenue milestone. That is huge. But the fundamental challenge hasn't changed. They have this giant book of future business, but they absolutely have to start turning it into actual real growth that you can see on a quarterly report. That's the hurdle they have to clear to win back the market's confidence.
So we'll leave you with this question to chew on. In a really turbulent global market, is doubling down on a complex, future-focused technology like AI a stroke of genius that will leave competitors in the dust, or is it a massive, risky gamble that could totally backfire if the economy doesn't turn around soon? The answer is probably going to define the next decade for one of India's biggest tech titans.